All right, this is going to be a video that kind of hopefully helps with some issues I've been seeing with your character on GameMaker. So trying to make a walk cycle with your character in GameMaker and making it work with the proper tools. So here's what I've got. I've got a character here, and I like Flash, so I've got about 9 frames of a walk cycle. So I've got my contact, recoil, passing, high point, contact, recoil, passing, high point, and then back to 1. And then it goes back to 1. So the first frame becomes the last frame. The first frame cycles through. So we'll get this cycling motion. I also have something incredibly easy. I took a single image like this of this person here, and I simply just skewed it, copied it, pasted it into a new, and just skewed it a little bit. So what it's going to do is it's just going to kind of move back and forth. When he's standing there, he's really just going to go back and forth like this over and over and over again. So I've got these cycles, right? Okay. So I go into GameMaker. Of course, I have them all saved out. I have a standing cycle. Here it is. So if I was to look at this, it would look like this if it was to cycle over and over again. So back and forth, see? You just kind of wobble back and forth. And if I go into my walk cycle, and this is what it's going to look like as he walks. So if I go really fast, I'll go kind of fast here so you can see how he's going to look. So this is the walk cycle. It looks good. Alright, so in GameMaker, here's what I've got. I've got my sprites. And my sprites, let's say, walk left. So, okay, let's just start with stand. So when he's standing, I have my sprite here. If I go into Edit Sprite, I've actually taken every image and I've duplicated it 4 times. So image 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Image 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. Image 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Image 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on and on. Or maybe it's 3 times. Anyway, I think I duplicated it 3 times. Yeah, it works out something like that. If I show a preview, this is what it's going to look like at 30 frames per second. I've doubled it so that it isn't happening super fast. If I don't have doubles, it'll just be like dee back and forth, and he'll look like he's vibrating. I don't want that, so I duplicate the image several times. And it looks like I've done it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. So this is what I get. This is the standing animation. When he is going to be standing, he's going to cycle through this series of images, and I get that little sway. Walk left, same thing. I have every image, so there's four poses that cycle, okay? But they cycle left leg forward, then, so it's actually a combination. It's actually like 9 or 8 pictures altogether. And there's, I believe, 3 versions of them, multiple versions of them. Okay, so I get this nice sense of him walking to the left, and the same for the right. Right, so I have the same. So at 30 frames per second, I'm showing about 3 versions of, let's see, so here is the contact, and then my recoil. So what's my recoil images? And so I end up with this really nice walk cycle, like I've got. Okay. Now here's where things, so I think most of you understand that. Here's what I've got. Now I go and I make an object using my tune, my character, and I've got to think about what happens when I press my arrow and I release my arrow, left or right arrow buttons. Now here's one of the things that you probably have noticed, that when you use the add event keyboard, you get you get something else. So let's say when you press this, it actually doesn't cycle through. What you have to do is choose press release or key press. So here's what I've got. Instead of adding a keyboard left, so if I have a left keyboard and I say I want to use my image, what I'm going to end up with is an image that sticks. So let me show you what I currently have. So I have a press left, a press right, a release left, and a release right. So when I have press left, it changes the sprite into my walk left sprite. So whatever sprite was up, he's going to switch to my walk left sprite. And I set the horizontal speed to -2. When I press right, it changes the sprite to the walk right sprite, walking to the right, and a speed of 1. And, I'm sorry, just switches it to the walk right sprite. And I set my horizontal speed to 3. I was just experimenting. It'll actually be 1 because I'm just trying to adjust the different speeds. So when I choose release, I'm going to change to my standing sprite image, and I set the horizontal speed to 0. And I go to my release right, and I change it to my stand. So because whenever I release the button, I want him to stand. And then I set the horizontal speed to 0, which is different than what I had seen many people doing, where they weren't using the press left command, they weren't using the key press, they were just using the keyboard, and this wasn't working. It wouldn't cycle through the animations. But when you use the key press and the key release, it will cycle. So let me show you what it looks like when it works properly. So I don't have a major room set up. I just have a simple room like with nothing in it essentially for my character, because this is just more of a demonstration. But I want you to see what it looks like. So here's my character as he stands in this room. It's cycling through the kind of, he's just kind of alive. I don't want him to be dead. When I hit the right arrow, he cycles through and he moves at a rate of 1 pixel per step. If I hit, and notice that when I release, he goes back to standing. I hit key left, and I have the speed a little bit different on that one, so that's moving at a different rate. And I have to adjust what I like. If this looks better to me, or if this looks better, I can find the right speed. So if I was to change the left, watch what will happen. If instead of going to the left, if I say change event and I just say keyboard left, and I keep everything the same, now remember, when I hit the right key, he's walking. When I hit the left key now, he freezes. And I think that's what everyone is seeing. And so this is an issue. Obviously, he's sliding, but he's not doing anything. That's cool if he's an ice skater, right? But to make him cycle through, I've got to have that key press, because as it's holding down, it's cycling through. So this is what I've been seeing a lot of people having problems with. All right? So if I go back to my object, and I go back to left, and I change this change event to key press left, say OK. Then I have my walk. Everything looks pretty good. All right, so there's my little character strutting across so that will hopefully, now I can add my up and down animations, and I can add some other things. So that was a problem I was seeing a lot of people having. So I hope that helps in some way, and I will see you in class.